Hey everyone, this is Eric Burkholder, and I am here with
Gabe West, and we're doing a video.
we are following up to a blog post that we posted. Was it this week or last week?
I think it may have been last
week.
Yeah.
So it took us a minute to get the video out, but Gabe here wrote an article about putting things on autopilot and how you can make that work to your benefit and kind of fight your all of our tendencies to not do what we should for ourselves. So maybe tell us a little bit about the article and what you wrote about.
Yeah, the idea came from just the I was looking at all my subscriptions, like Netflix, the Hulu accounts, and all those kind of things. And I check my credit card statement or my billing statement sometimes, and I see like Seattle, Washington on there sometimes. I'm like, I kind of get freaked out for a second because I think it's fraud, and then I realize, it's Amazon Prime, or like I have the Amazon Prime, so that gets billed yearly, but you can get channels in Amazon Prime that charge you like $5 a month, and I had clicked one of those. Like I'll do a free trial, and then I was like, wait, this is coming out every single month. So I've let a couple months go by with a couple of subscriptions, and so the idea of automated subscription billing kind of jogged my memory, and how companies use that to take money out of our pockets and into theirs. Then how can we use that for kind of investing and use it towards our benefit of putting things on autopilot, and it just comes out automatically, and how we can do that for our benefit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. Like, obviously, as of late, it's become even more popular, but I mean, the gym was like the original subscription model, right? Like, that's why they push so hard to get you signed up, because when they know once you signed up, it's so hard to get out of it. And so really they're just using our behavioral biases against us. Mm-hmm. And so how can we use those behavioral biases to our benefit?
Humans are typically we're not designed to invest really well. We have to overcome all these biases and how we relate with numbers and all of these kind of things. But one of them is, that reoccurring thing. Investing to some may be painful, or if you don't have it kind of set up in automation, then it's it becomes an active step to put money in an account to invest. And if you have to do that, it kind of drains your willpower over time, as where if you kind of set it on autopilot, you set it on just to take out every single month, then you don't think about it. The willpower is intact, and the money goes in every single time, so you don't have to build this muscle to invest. It just happens.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so there's a million different ideas and thoughts and systems around budgeting out there. Mm-hmm. We kind of want to give listeners and viewers kind of, I would say, a simple place to start, because then I think that's a good point of the emotional draining of like having to actively do stuff. So I think for some people, a very specific budget is fantastic, but then that can be draining because you have 20 different line items that all have a specific dollar amount, and then you miss one or two, and then you just kind of you get that feeling of that drain. To make it automatic and make it passive and make it easy for you to be successful, really using those behavioral biases to your benefit, we would say is make it automatic. Mm-hmm. And so that means retirement savings and your emergency fund or cash savings account. Mm-hmm. You got to set up either the 401k or the Roth or the IRA to be an automatic monthly contribution, mm-hmm. and then also set up an automatic transfer from your checking to your saving each month. And if you can do those two things, I mean, you're miles ahead of the game.
Just the big brackets of savings and spending. And so that first one, kind of the retirement, the 401k, savings, put it on autopilot, make it easy. And then even then, if you want to break it down of like, I save for this goal or this goal, just the more you can automate it, the better it's going to be, because you don't have to think about it. And then a year later, you've deposited all this cash, and it's almost like finding a $20 bill in your jeans after you do a load of laundry. You're like, oh, I put that aside. So that's kind of the same behavioral trick, and just for long-term success, it really sets you up. So,
yeah, and I would say as far as like the amount, a lot of people are like, well, what should I start with? I think the hardest thing to do is just starting.
Yeah.
And so if for a lot of people and a lot of people we work with, we're coming up with an amount that gets you on track for retirement. But if you're not there yet, you just have to start somewhere. And I think, and we all know that money is going somewhere. So even if you feel like you don't have it in your budget, put a $50 a month transfer to your savings, because if you don't, and I think you wrote about this in your article, I encourage everyone to read, that will get spent. You will find a way to spend that money. And the reverse is true. If you force that money into savings, you will find a way to save $50. So because then you no longer have it in your account.
Yeah, I think you give me $100, I'm gonna find a way to spend the $100 on something. You give, and I spend it, and I get the endorphin rush, and I get the thing, or I get the the service that I wanted. You give me $50, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna spend it all. I'm gonna get the same endorphin rush, but the other 50 went to an automatic investing savings, and the result is vastly different, but the experience is almost the same.
Yeah.
So absolutely, starting is key. I'd be surprised to find any sort of online platform that doesn't allow kind of automatic investing, or even most bill pay. It's very common now just to set it up automatically, just start somewhere.
Yeah, just start. Yeah, I think a fear sometimes is like, well, what if I end up needing that money? And a worst case scenario is you can get to it typically. Obviously, we would caveat if it's invested, there's some risk there, but if you save it and you end up needing it, that's okay, not ideal. Mm-hmm. If you spend it and you end up needing it, it's gone.
It's gone.
So worry less about like, can I afford to save? I would say you can't afford not to save.
Yeah.
Put it in there, and then try to figure out a way to adjust your lifestyle. And then if you end up needing the money, you can get it. But if you don't make that first step, you can't get that money back.
Yeah, it all kind of compounds from just starting. So then you can kind of up it, up that initial savings. If it's too much, you can make it smaller. If it's still within your goals, just start somewhere. And I think it just kind of compounds on all these different biases. We're big believers in just put the money in the market, and like you can't time the market. So if every single month you have to press the button of putting the money in, you kind of are, all right, is the market too high? Is it too low? And should I try to time the market? And we can give overwhelming data that, don't try to time the market. And so just setting it up automated, like that takes that out. And so as just starting the compounding, there's several different, biases that get affected through automated investing. And so I highly encourage everybody right now listening, go to that investing account and select that goal that you were, wanting to do, and put it on autopilot.
Yeah, great point. Because the autopilot's great for budgeting, and then kind of that next level is for investing. Mm-hmm. I can speak from experience. I know of people who are still waiting since 2009, the great financial crisis. They still got cash, and they're still waiting for the right time because, the market is just a little overpriced, and that's, again, you're just feeding into your own biases that hurt you, it's just so hard to click that button and feel like this is the right time. If you make it automatic, you're taking that off the table. You're going to buy sometimes when the market's a little high, sometimes when it's low. It's all going to even out. What's important is you get in the market. That's 100% the most important thing, is exposure to the market over time. Yeah. And so that automated track just allows you to do that and takes that mental hurdle out of the picture.
There's biases that help us and biases that hurt us. And so to be better investors, we need to get on the biases that help us.
Absolutely. So anyway, we're going to keep this video short, but we wanted to put something out there that would be helpful and practical. And so those are kind of, if you take anything away from this, make it automatic, start somewhere, but just start and use your biases to your benefit and not to your detriment.
Yes, I agree.
All right.
Check your statements to see if you have any reoccurring monthly Amazon channels that are taking money out of your account.
Oh, I don't even want to know how many streaming services I'm subscribed to now. But
maybe take a look.
Yeah, I definitely will take a look. So anyway, have a good weekend, everybody, and we will get back with you next week.
Bye.